joining me now is Sean Lally, who just beat Matthew Denning in the very first round at Cage Titans 53. Sean, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Pretty good, man. And I understand you were just on a vacation, right? Tell me a little bit of that. Some well-needed rest and relaxation after getting in a training camp.
Yeah, for sure. It was a little bit overdue. My wife and I had planned on taking our honeymoon, and that was the date we kind of set. It was kind of perfect timing right after a fight camp. So we got married in December, but we wanted to wait, have something to look forward to. And we, right after we got married, we both started new jobs. She's a nurse. I took over a title boxing franchise with a partner. So nurse, business owner, and we were just full on working quite a bit. So it was a much needed reset. We really enjoyed ourselves. We were up in York, Maine, walked around, ate food, took naps, got some sun. Pretty simple.
Very good. Well, that's my neck of the woods. I'm a little further north, but I'm a maniac. You were in southern Maine, so that's a nice part of the state. I'm sure you guys enjoyed yourself. Let's recap that last fight with Matthew Denning. It's been a little while now, and again, Cage Titans 53. You got him out of there in the first round. Is this a fight too, where you look at his record and it's not the greatest? He's someone that steps in and fights anyone, even last minute. Did you feel pressure to go in there and win this quickly?
Absolutely. So I tell people all the time, it's like those guys are sometimes more dangerous, or you even have a little bit more pressure on yourself, right? It's like you fight somebody like Billy Goff, who I fought, we go to a decision and you see what else he's done. And it's kind of like, okay, he lost against a tough guy. That's respectable, and not, taking anything away from that. But if you look at our records and what we've accomplished in the sport, I should take him out and I should do it fairly quickly. And that's what's expected of my fans, my coaches, myself. So there's a little extra pressure, but for me personally, I try to get that out of my head. And when I'm fighting, I fight everybody pretty much the same. I don't have, we might have a little bit more specific of a game plan for one person or another, but I knew I was going to be stronger. I knew I was going to probably have better conditioning, because he did take the fight on late notice. He took the fight on I want to say about 10 days notice, because originally I was supposed to fight Roberto Young, and he pulled out due to an injury, and Denning was a last minute replacement. So I messaged him the day, because the day he agreed to fight, and Mike was good about it. He didn't tell me Roberto had pulled out until he had helped me get another fight in place, and then said, "Hey, do you want to do this?" Roberto pulled out. I said, "Yeah, hey, that's fine." I reached out to Matt and I thanked him, because, and not, I knew he was going to come in and I knew he was going to try to beat me, but I knew if I put it on him and he saw some adversity, that he would probably find his way out one way or another. And I messaged him just thanking him. I appreciate you, because he knew what he was signing up for, right? I mean, I'm actually glad I didn't really hurt him. I feel like I could have, and my goal is to hurt my opponent, just to take them out of the cage before they hurt me. So I'm actually glad that he got out mostly unscathed, and it was a good in and out victory for me.
And I know that was a much needed win for yourself. Again, we talked a little bit before we went live and started the interview. You're a guy that was right on the cusp of being in the UFC. You fought at Contender Series. You were on a 4-fight skid before this win over Matt Denning. But when you look at the guys you've lost to, you mentioned before, Billy Goff, Chris Curtis, Cameron Lachinoff, you're fighting elite guys. So with that being said, where's your head at right now? What is your mindset moving forward as a mixed martial artist and the goals you're trying to accomplish?
So like you mentioned, right, I've definitely had a rough go. Part of it was I managed myself for years. So, right, where I wasn't taking super easy fights. I started my pro career at 0-1. And then before that 4-fight skid, it was Chris Curtis in the 3rd round. We see what he's doing in the UFC. He caught me with a nice shot. And then after that, my next fight was at Bellator against Cameron. He beat me by decision. And then my kind of comeback fight after that was against Shedrick Goodrich, who on paper is a guy that I should beat, but I dislocated my shoulder, kind of a freak injury in the 1st round. That was my third loss, injury. And then after that, it was Billy. And, we didn't know how tough Billy was at that point, but I did say, hey, I want a tough fight, and that's what I got. And we put on a great show for the fans. So with that being said, over the last few years, I've really shifted my focus, right? I mean, it's been such a long journey for me. Like, I started watching UFCs when I was young. I mean, me and my dad rented the VHSs and we watched. I didn't watch WWE. I never watched it. I was into real fighting from like a young age, 9 years old. And we watched it. And then from there, I got into it when I was young. I mean, I remember still to this day being 15 years old, going on a run, doing a bunch of push-ups, being all amped up and stating the fact that I was going to be in the UFC. So over the last 4 years, it's been a little bit of an emotional roller coaster from an athlete standpoint of somebody who myself wanting to pursue other things in life, but also have this thing that I love and this goal that I set for myself and visualized and wanted to accomplish for so long. But with all that and the time and what else has happened in my life, I've accepted the fact that I'm probably not going to the UFC, and not because I don't want to. I truly believe right now, I'm 31 years old, I'm 9-6. I truly believe if I wanted to surround myself with super high level training partners, and I wanted to get some good management, and I wanted to pick the right fights, and I wanted to get to 10-6 and 11-6, that I could get to the UFC. For me, I'm not really interested in that anymore. Right. I don't even know if I'll fight again. I'm not retiring, but I'm so focused on my business. This is my gym, the Title Boxing Club. Me and a partner took over this club in January. Being a business owner it takes a lot of discipline. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of energy. And I think I could be good at both. Right. And I think I could be even good at having a family too. But then you start to decide what you want to be great at. Right. So if I want to be great at having a family, fighting, and running a business, for me, I can't find the balance. And that's okay because I'm all into something. So I'm focused more on business and family for now. I've decided I'm not going to fight. I have a baby due in December. I'm not going to fight before then. Right. After the fight, it was exciting for me. It's like a drug for me. Right. I love the adrenaline. I love every part of it. And I love just competing and getting in great shape. I mean, there's not a lot of things that will get you in as great shape as preparing for a fight. And what I always say to myself is that if I'm not in shape, like, somebody is going to kick my ass, and they're going to kick my ass in front of all my friends and all my family. And I'm not going to let that happen. So it's like, it's hard to find things to fill that, but business is something that I love. I'm super competitive about it. I like chasing the numbers and figuring out things like that. So I'm just at a different phase in my life. I don't care. Cowboy retired the other night. He said, I don't love it anymore. And I'm like, you know what? I got goosebumps when I watched him retire, because I was like, I don't love it anymore. I mean, I went to jiu-jitsu this morning. I'll go again tomorrow morning. I'm still training. I'm a lifelong martial artist. And next summer, maybe I'll get the itch and I want to get back in the cage, right? I got a couple more, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Okay. Well, we can dive back into your career here in a second, but I wanted to ask you and follow up on your gym. Tell me a little bit more about what the schedule is like and the people that are in and out of there day to day.
Yeah. So it's Title Boxing in Watertown. We opened in 2018. I was a manager here at the time, and pandemic hit, and some of you know that I went off. I opened my own gym, started in the garage. I opened a gym in Needham for a year. We had a decent operation. I mean, we were making a little money. We were paying the bills. It was a lot of work. It was basically me running it, doing all the privates, most of the classes. I had like 2 other coaches that worked there. And then an opportunity came about, and I negotiated myself a nice position and ownership of this Title Boxing in Watertown. And it was a no-brainer for me, right? It was another step up. I was talking to a kid this morning. It's like, owning 50% of a gym with 480 members, or 100% of my gym with 60 members, right? There's a big difference. The 50% is worth it more, whatever the bigger idea. So it was cool to to get over here and to make that move, right? That was a big step for me. And we run classes Monday through Sunday, every day of the week. During the week, we run about 6 classes a day. We do primarily boxing classes. We do some kickboxing classes. We have a couple HIIT, like boot camp style classes on the schedule. About 8 coaches work here. Pad sessions going on throughout the day, strength and conditioning. It's a great location and we have a great time here. If anyone ever wants to stop by, feel free.
So obviously you've got a lot of general members that are doing it for fun or to get in shape, but I assume that you also must have a lot of members that are there that are pursuing a career in combat sports. Can you give me a few names of people that are there at the gym that the general public might know?
Well, you know, at this gym, we don't really have those people that are looking to compete regularly. I do have a client that's training for Haymakers for Hope, and I have a couple, you know, of my boys, training partners that'll come in from time to time and hit pads and do some things like that. But primarily what we focus on is we're a fitness first gym. I like to call us a skills boxing gym, right? You're not going to walk in here, people aren't going to be punching each other in the face. And if you're into that, that's great. I'm sure into it, right? But from a business model, there is a big demographic of people that want to do boxing, want to get the fitness results, want to learn the skill, but don't want to get punched in the mouth. And that's perfectly fine, right? So that's what we focus on, right? Where I think some other titles are a little bit more just fitness. Here, we're very skill based, because what I discovered a long time ago as more of a fitness coach that uses boxing as a fitness modality is that having better technique is going to yield greater fitness results, right? By pivoting your feet, you're working your legs. By rotating your core, you're also less likely to get injured. And if you do ever have to protect yourself and punch somebody in the face, I think it's wrong to teach somebody incorrect technique, right? And you see that happening a lot. So we have a nice blend of being a skills fitness gym. Like we have a curriculum. We do an offense week, a defense week. I don't see a lot of other places like us doing that. So you look around in our classes, and although none of these members have any interest in ever getting in the ring, I mean, there are some, but for the most part, you look around and people got some skills in here.
Okay, very good. You know, another thing that I wanted to talk to you about is I understand that a big passion of yours is helping, you know, at-risk and disadvantaged youth. Can you talk a little bit about that and how you got into it?
Yeah, so it really started getting into it more with this most recent fight, right? Where I didn't love it, right? I didn't care to get in there and compete to prove anything to myself or anybody else, or definitely not to make money. It was just not about that. I'm not looking for validation, anything. So I wanted to come up with a way of like, how can I start giving back to others? And then, you know, Greg Williams came to mind, and Greg Williams, he's from the North Country. He was my first sensei. He was the first guy to bring me into MMA, right? He had a small circle jiu-jitsu school in Whitefield, New Hampshire, Kaze Dojo. I always show my loyalty to him, and I always will, right? Because we have a lot of great memories. My father brought me in there, you know, who's passed since, and Greg and him had a wonderful relationship. So anyway, I reached out to Greg, and we came up with a plan. You know, he works with the Up Foundation, who works with at-risk and disadvantaged youth of the North Country, and I could relate to that, right? I grew up without a lot of money, right? And my dad wasn't always around. You know, my dad was a great man, first of all. So whenever I say these things, I don't want to like paint the picture that he was, you know, that he was a bad person, but he struggled. He has demons. He was in and out of jail, right? So when I was growing up, we didn't have a lot of money, and I was at risk, and I clearly fell into that, right? I started doing drinking and doing drugs at a fairly young age, and that really caused a lot of issues in my life and a lot of pain up until I'll be 4 years sober this winter. So up until just a few years ago. So the mission at Up, you know, helping the youth and helping these youth that might fall into those same traps, and just trying to support them in any way I can. And it was first of all, you know, I'm going to donate my fight purse. And that's what we did. Right. And that gave me a little motivation to train harder and to take it outside of myself, because like that was in my head too. Right. I was like, I was donating, I was getting a fight and a win purse. And in my head, I was like, Matt, you're not taking this money from these kids. Like, I'm sorry, but you got to go. You know what I mean? Like I'm going to take whoever out. I have a little extra motivation. So that helped me in training camp too. And I just want to try to help break the cycle and share my experience, strength, and hope, as they say, for the next generation.
That's very cool, man. How great of a human being is Greg Williams? I can't say enough good things about him.
He's the best. I love Greg. He's one of those people that I feel energy, right? And he's one of those people that just has great energy. He's hilarious. I mean, we have some funny conversations together. Yeah, he's a great man, and I love what he's doing. And I'm going to be part of helping with their conference. Greg said time and time again, you know, after I had donated the purse, it's like he wants me to help make decisions with their upcoming conference they're having in September. So I'm going to be part of it. I think I'm going to speak to them, whatever he wants. So yeah, he's a great guy. I know you've been doing some commentary with him, right?
Yeah. He's been my NEF commentary partner. He also went down to Springfield, Massachusetts to do the the most recent ammo event as well. So cool. Yeah, him and I are developing quite the relationship, and I think our chemistry is pretty good too on the mic. So again, I love the guy. He's such a great person, and it's fantastic what you guys are doing together to help the youth. So I applaud you both on that. As far as to get back to, you know, your MMA career, Sean, if you do get that itch, let's say a year from now, you do get that itch. I mean, you're talking about you have a kid coming in December, so congratulations with that. And I'm sure everything's going to go great there. But if you do come back, what weight class do you feel like is going to make sense? Are you going to stick around the 170 range?
Yeah, I would stick around the 170 range. So I fought from 165 to 185, never missed weight. I'm proud of that. 165 to 185. This most recent fight was at 165. And I'll tell you, it was tough. It was a tough cut. It wasn't an easy cut. But I was able to do it. The reason I did the 165 weight class is because Ego FC has a 165 weight class, and they offered me a fight like, I don't know, 4 months ago or something. It was a little before the Denning fight, but it was like, hey, do you want to fight on 2 weeks notice against Khabib's cousin? And I'm like, yeah, really. They're like, you have 2 weeks, respond immediately. I was like, yeah, I really appreciate it, guys. Thank you. I really do, you know, but let me go get a fight locally at 165 and maybe I'll circle back, right? Because I try to create these options for myself where like I can maybe take a big money fight at Bellator. Like I almost fought Raymond Daniels one time. It was in the works at Bellator. Like try to set myself up to do something exciting like that if I want to, right? So I'll email these. I'll find out the matchmakers' emails. I'll hit them up and stuff. But anyway, if I do come back, I think I'm at 170. I'll be at 170 locally. I used to walk around a lot bigger. 85's out of the question for me. I mean, I was 181 this morning, right? I weighed myself after jiu-jitsu. So like, I'm not even a huge 170 if you're looking at, what they are at the highest level, right? These guys are cut from like 195 or so. So I think that I'll just stay in shape. And if I do decide to fight, make a 10, 12 pound cut down to 70.
Yeah. I think fighting any Nurmagomedov, you want a full camp, right?
Yeah, I want a full camp and I want to be coming off a win. I was like, okay, I really appreciate it, guys. Like, and I did, you know, because I reached out to them. I say, hey, this is my name. This is my record. Be honored to fight for your organization at some point. And they messaged me back like 2 weeks later, but it was just like, it was a no thank you fight.
Yeah, for sure. You know, I got to mention a name to you because I just interviewed Joe Cab. I'm sure you know who that is, an OG in the game. And he has his new Combat FC event. And he was talking about trying to match Ryan Sanders for one of his upcoming fights. Is that a name that intrigues you? Because that's someone that locally has a very good record and is kind of underrated, I would say. Is that something that interests you maybe down the line?
We might come up on each other's radars. I mean, I know who he is, and I've heard people try to make that matchup before. Right now, I don't really have interest in fighting him. I think he's got a good rhythm going, and he's pretty focused on getting to the next level. Not that I don't believe I could beat him, but I do recognize that it's a tough fight, and that he could definitely beat me too. Right? It could go one way or the other, I believe. So if I was going to fight somebody like Ryan, right, it would be more or less, I got to go get another win, right? I don't, so many of these guys have built their records upon beating just bomb after bomb after bomb after bomb. And that's fine. It's part of the game. And, you know, I took a lot of tough fights, right? And then it was like with this Roberto fight, it's like, okay, if you do want a chance to compete at the high level, you got to go in and just get a couple wins. I'm not going to fight a guy that's 0-100, but I'll fight a 5-9 guy or a 6-10 guy, right? I need another fight like that, I believe, before I start stepping into the territory with like Ryan or those higher level fights at this point in my career.
I feel like the people that know MMA out there believe that you're at that level. You're one of those guys that are one of the elite fighters here in New England. I wanted to ask you too, like, how good is Billy Goff? Do you think that we're going to see him in the UFC one day?
I think so. The kid he's a stud, man. He's really good, right? And it's funny because he's a great wrestler. He's a very strong kid, but he'll stand and bang and he'll trade with somebody to get what he needs. And it was so frustrating because I've worked on my wrestling quite a bit over the last couple of years. My wrestling's not bad, right? If another like okay wrestler or something, like I put guys on their back in the gym all the time. It's hard to take me down. I went in there with all this training, like practicing wrestling, and Billy just kept finding a way to get me to the ground and keep me there. And it was frustrating. I mean, the kid's good and he's young. And what I respect about Billy is he's never taken any easy fights, right? I think when we fought, he was 3-2. And one of his losses was like an injury, and his other loss was a decision against Cameron Lachinoff, a 5-round decision, a reality fighting. I think Billy was like 1-1 or something, 19, 20 years old. And Cameron was like 10-5. Those are the types of fights he's taken. And then at CES, he goes in there, he beats Gary Boletto. I was watching him, right? Because I got respect for him, but we just fought, so I'm going to be checking him out. And then after that, he takes like a 2-week notice fight against Sumner, up a weight class. So he's got all the tools, right? He's beaten some of the best guys in New England. He's a great wrestler, which is a huge base for MMA. I think that's the best thing you can have in MMA is to be a high-level wrestler. His striking is decent, tough, durable. He's got all the ingredients.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I appreciate you diving into that and breaking his fighting style down for me. Sean, it's been great talking to you today, man. Far too long since we did our last interview. We're talking 5 years back.
Yeah, let's not wait another 5 years, man.
Yeah, definitely.
I'll have a gray beard by then.
Well, listen, man, we'll do this again. Hopefully maybe next year when you do get that itch. Before I do let you go today, I want to give you the floor. Plug anything you want to, tell people where to follow you on social media. And if you have any sponsors, anyone to thank, the floor is yours.
All right. Thank you. First of all, thank you for your time. I always enjoy watching your interviews. I think you're doing a great thing for MMA, spreading the word. So just a shout out, come check out my gym, Title Boxing Club in Watertown. Come take a free class anytime. Shout out Kill Combat Gear. That's my side hustle right now. Maybe it'll be a bigger hustle one day. It's an apparel company. Our message is to kill anything negative in your life, kill anything that doesn't allow you to grow, whatever that might be. And then other than that, don't got anyone else to shout out. I appreciate your time and look forward to talking in less than 5 years.
Absolutely, my man. Thanks again. And hopefully you, me, and Greg can talk at some point soon. I'd love to help out in any way that I can with what you guys are doing for the youth. So we'll talk about that too, hopefully soon.
All right. Sounds great.